Hey, Mrparka here to review a new one from Breaking Glass. This is The Creature Below. This is actually a UK flick that just came out a little bit ago. Let me get into this one. Essentially what we have here is a group of scientists who are diving and searching for something. They end up having some sort of catastrophic kind of accident. Not catastrophic, but the lady who decides to dive, she blacks out and she sees some mysterious thing in the waters. She finds an egg on her suit and she ends up stealing the egg. And taking it home, and it gives birth to some sort of deep water sea creature that's a new species. This is where the symbiotic, parasitic relationship starts between the two. It kind of reminds me of something maybe like Baby Blood or Venus Drowning, but it's definitely its own flavor and different. Inspired by H.P. Lovecraft. And what we have here is she starts to slowly lose her humanity and getting her bonds less and less with human beings, her fiance and her sister, and more with this creature. And soon she realizes it needs blood, like any other monster that you would find that to take care of. It needs blood. And she has this motherly instinct to take care of it. And people that originally she doesn't like or has problems with start dying, and she starts feeding them to this creature, and she starts losing her grip on her reality. The practical effects in this movie, the creature, the blood, it's all great. It looks great. It looks pretty good. Not pretty good, but it looks great. And the creature looks great. The gore looks great. The digital effects, they're pretty iffy, especially at the end. They're pretty rough. At the end and the beginning, and it's a little distracting, to be honest. But I can forgive the movie because it has some other things going for it. It's got fairly good acting. I had no complaints about it. Most of the actors are all really solid, especially the main three. And it's an adult horror movie. There's a lot of horror movies following teenagers and kids, and there's not enough horror, like The Invitation follows adults. This is an adult premise, and it's adults in an actual horrific situation, which I think is kind of refreshing nowadays. So it was really cool to see that. The movie actually did color correction, and for low-budget horror movies, a lot of times they don't do color correction. They don't do a lot of these things. The sound was good. The camera work was fairly decent. It does kind of have that gloomy UK feel, which a lot of movies do have. And the ending I'm a little iffy on, especially after seeing the original ending on the disc. I prefer the original ending, but nowadays audience, you kind of have to hit them over the head with it sometimes. But regardless, I thought The Creature Below was a fairly adult, serious horror movie that didn't wear out its welcome and had a great premise. It was executed fairly solid, great practical effects, poor digital effects, and though it does take a little bit to get past those digital effects in the beginning, and it takes a while to get sucked in, but once you're sucked in, you're intrigued. And I really ended up enjoying the movie. There's a tiny bit of dark humor in there, but that just depends how sick you are, I think, involving an old lady from an old folks home. But that's what I'll go with on that. But yeah, the DVD has a making of, which is nice to see. All the filmmakers talk about it, how they came together, and they had this 2-week period to make the movie. It's a low-budget movie shot in 14 days, which impressed me. A minimal cast, and they also talk about the special effects and the creature and the different sizes and the inspiration by H.P. Lovecraft. There's a video interview at Fright Fest. There's a short called Rats, or Rats, I don't remember exactly what it's called, and there's a trailer reel and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a nice disc, it's a nice movie, it's a fairly solid release of a fairly solid horror movie that I think deserves a little bit of attention, and that's a pretty damn cool cover art. But yeah, it's also a debut director, his first feature. So looking forward to another voice in the horror genre. I'm Mrparka. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good one.